Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night. We are broadcasting live here on the United Public Radio Network. I am your host, Don Yazzie, and with me, my co-host, Darren Yazzie. If you stayed after the show called The Chat, welcome in. What's up?
Well, let me turn this business started right here. Yeah. Welcome back to the show, and we're happy to have you guys back. You made it another week. Now you're here. Let's do this. Tonight we got. I'm not quite familiar with who the man is, but Don did mention a rabbit, a bunny man. But there's one detail in that I would leave out because when Don said that, I was like, whoa, wait, what? Never heard that before. So, man, it's going to be a pretty good treat for everybody here and for myself, too, because the stories, the way you're hearing it is the way I'm hearing it right now. So, let's bring on tonight's guest.
All right. Here he is, Mr. Kyle Hill. How's it going, Mr. Kyle? Broadcasting live here. Oh, we have a delay.
Yeah.
No.
Bad signal. Res life, dude. So we'll see what we can do with this. Maybe we can do a video call or phone call.
Yeah, we got a huge delay. All right, stay tuned, people. Stay tuned. All right, Kyle, go ahead. I'll give you a ring, and we'll just let you go on storyteller mode. Okay?
Yep.
All right.
What was that, Kyle? We got bad internet on your end.
Yeah, man, it happens. Just Don will give you a phone call. And
what was that?
Am I coming through?
Oh, no, yeah, man. Really bad, though. We got a delay.
Man. Wow. Yeah. Pinch Chase, don't go, everybody. My name's Kyle Hill. Coming to y'all live from Oklahoma. Here to share some of my stories and legends that I have. I'd like to give a shout out to these guys for this great podcast. And Don't Whistle at Night Nation.
Oh,
here we go.
There. I like that.
Yeah. For me, it's young.
Go ahead. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
For me, it starts young, man. It was, growing up native, how we always just start getting told things from the time we're little, like, you're going to encounter spirits. You're going to see things in the woods. Things like that. So that leads me up to my first spiritual encounter, which was, I was in the living room playing. It was me and my grandma at the time. My mom had left me with my grandma to attend college. So I'm down there and we were watching TV, and I happened to just look because her bedroom's set down the hallway and you can see down the hallway from the living room. So I was sitting there and I seen my great-great-grandma sitting in a rocking chair back there in the bedroom. So I told my grandma, I was like, hey, I see great-great-grandma. My grandma just looked at me without missing a beat. She goes, yeah. She goes, they come to us from time to time. And I was like, man. So I was like, first lesson in ghosts that I seen all in one day. And it kind of, with me, it kind of plays hand in hand with our legends because, like I was saying, as this happened and remembering growing up, we started getting into the legends. Like, be careful when you're playing in the woods, because that Bigfoot's out there. I said, man, or DW, deer woman, things like that. Just or don't go out and playing in the woods in rainy days. The little people might take off with you. And then there's some other things. And I was talking to some elders recently though, and they were like, you can talk about it, tell them about it, but they go, don't say the native name for it. I was like, man. I was like, why? And they were like, because you might put something on somebody, and there ain't that many people around that could take it off of them anymore. So it just goes back to, like I was saying, with my grandma just giving me all these pre-warnings in life. Like she was like, one, I guess in English would be the tall man. I remember there being stories of a tall man being around the area I grew up in. I grew up in Eufaula. It's a small lake town here in Oklahoma, off of a very sketchy highway, number 9 highway. Just keeping it in chronological order, sorry.
Oh yeah. So after your experience seeing your great grandmother, what else happened after that?
Well, I guess after that happened, because I was with my grandma at the time, that made her stop and kind of start telling all these myths and legend stories. So that's how we got to the myths and legends part. So she was going in, telling me, like, you're going to see your ancestors from time to time being Muskogee. That's just, one of our strong beliefs is that they come and scare you.
So what was that? Say again.
She was just telling me, she goes, the ancestors being Muskogee, they're going to come to you, to guide you, protect you, scare you if they have to. She actually just telling me, like letting me know that all experiences.
Breaking up right there, bro. I think we lost him right there.
Wait, there he is. There he
No,
is.
okay. All right.
So what kind of experience did your mother have, or do you know any of her stories that she experienced herself?
My grandmother?
Yeah, your grandmother, your mom.
My
Like, so this
yeah,
goes
because my
back
grandmother.
generational for sure. Uh-huh.
Oh
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Like that brings me back to that, and that's a good point you gave. Because like I hear a lot too on these pods. I talk about generational trauma or land trauma.
Mm.
Well, like us being Muskogee, they brought us over from the southeast, from that Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, to where we're at now in Oklahoma. So for them to bring us in, I recently found out, we're at Cattle Nation. So that starts that land trauma that y'all talk of. And then my grandma speaks of seeing, I've heard stories of trolls while they were trying to get water. Trying to go to a spring, just a little natural spring or something that occurs, and them seeing trolls over bridges.
Yeah, we do have a couple of
Can't remember
our guests that came on earlier. They
what
talked
she said
about
the remedy was. I think they just
Yep,
avoided
she's
it at all
delayed there.
costs.
Yeah.
And Bigfoot, I remember them speaking of Bigfoot, seeing him over the valley and the hills. Because where I live, it's like off of a lake town, but it's like roaming hills, if you know what I mean. Like valleys and
Yeah.
flatland and valleys again. So yeah, they would talk about Bigfoot and what people would consider to be Slender Man. That's the one that they
Slender
would talk
Man.
about for us. That yeah, the one they would talk about for us. That like when y'all say what would run off women, they said that was the one.
Hey Kyle. Hey Kyle.
Yeah.
Man, sounds like he's getting really bad on his
Yeah.
internet. Hey,
I think it might
hey
be
Kyle.
better to go to a phone.
Hey Kyle, I'm gonna
I
give
hear
you
you.
a call, okay? So we're gonna
Okay.
it'll sound a little bit better for all the audience, okay? I'll give you a call, then we'll just have you talk to the microphone. Is that all right?
All right.
All
Kyle.
right.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay. All right. Hang on there, people. I'm
Oh yeah.
gonna give Kyle a call. So I'll see you on the other side, Kyle. I'll give you a ring right now.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. He brought up a good point. Generational trauma. Uh, it's something that we're trying to break. Break the barrier on, and have non-natives understand. What this means and what it means to us, to the people out there. So it's good to listen. I tell you that much. It is really good to listen. And try to put yourself in their shoes. I can understand that that's difficult for a lot of people. For myself, it's difficult for me to imagine what it's like to be a millionaire. 'Cause I can't imagine that. There's totally different uh, aspects of life and living that I will probably never understand, and that would be one of them. The same thing with the natives and the non-natives. It's two different mindsets. Remember, and, remember that, and it's also something that you should look more into. Learn the people around you, know the nations around you, the tribes around you, and land disputes. It's something we talk about. We're going to be talking a bit more about because some of these land
All
disputes
right,
come
Darren.
upon in the
We're
horse.
good now. We got him right here on the phone, Darren.
Okay,
We'll just get him rolling right now. Is there any questions you want him to want me to ask before we get rolling? Remember,
no,
short
yeah,
question.
yeah. I was just gonna say, have them describe the trolls. How long these trolls been around the spring or the bridge he was talking about? Because we did come across a couple of them. Of our guests that mentioned trolls underneath bridges. I don't know why they like bridges, but hey, trolls. Let's break them down.
Okay. All right. Hey, Kyle, are you there? Can you hear me? Okay. Darren, can you hear Kyle, Darren? Kyle, say hi, Darren. See if Darren can hear you well. Did you hear him, Darren? Say again one more time.
Negative.
No, for real. I can hear him. Okay, let's go to the chat. Can you guys hear Kyle? Kyle, can you say hello to the chat? Let's see if the audience can hear you.
Hey, Whistle Nation!
Huh. Oh, that's one of the weirdest things. I can't hear it on my side, but
Really?
well, I can't hear him. Yeah, I can hear him now. Shoot, let's roll, bro.
Okay, now he can hear you. He can hear you now. Okay. So Darren asks if you can expand on the troll situation, on the troll sightings of stories, because in our investigations we've came across quite a few stories of trolls and them being around water and also bridges. So could you tell us your stories on the troll in your area?
Yeah. Remember grandma telling a story that her own parents they would run into one trying to get actual spring water. I remember her taking me to the spring. They would just talk about they would be hiding around and like not wanting like a toe feed or nothing like how you would hear, but like just being very mean and not wanting them to get to where they wanted to go.
Oh,
So
so you mean like it wanted something
no,
in return to pass the bridge, huh?
really, simply. I guess like Lord of the Rings. What were those they had? I don't know if there were trolls in there or not, or what they called those things. But like what? Cause we was watching Lord of the Rings one time, and that's what she told me. She goes, "It looks like
Which
Uh,
Lord of the Rings?
which so like you mean like the goblins or like the
that."
ogres?
She explained like the ogres off of Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Oh, like
Was it that
cave
big?
trolls, right? The cave troll.
Yeah, like the
Oh,
things they were like the big old mean looking things.
oh yeah, the cave troll.
She explained it to look like that.
Wow.
Oh man.
And then like y'all, like you were just kind of saying, like if it's something with fresh water, it was it.
Oh, it was his water. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's a sight to see. They always like to take canals here in the Farmington area. From what we were told, Navajo Nation police would lose them in the canals out there near Shiprock and by the schools. They like to peek in and look at kids, especially little girls at the dormitories there. So we've heard quite some scary stories involving trolls. um, Darren, do you have any questions you want me to ask Mr. Kyle?
Not now, man. Let's get it rolling. Let's start from his grandmother.
Okay. What other stories do your grandmother have? Does your grandmother have about?
She was speaking of where we're at now. I guess that's where they used to keep cattle, or they had a swimming paradise there. But she was saying they were going. It would have been across the hill from where the man box was. My house is now. She said that one time when they were going over there, they were looking off into. I don't know if it was always a pasture next to my family's land, or I know it was probably always open area. But she remembered seeing a cyclops. And I said, a cyclops? She goes, yeah. I said, what was that like? She looked at me and she goes, well, we were coming over that hill and you just seen it. She goes, it was big. She had like it was looking for stuff. She goes, we kind of just kind of watched it.
Oh man, yeah, that's quite unsettling right there. Uh, you did mention the deer woman. What's the story of the deer woman and who does she target? I've heard quite a few stories, so I've been waiting to ask more Native Americans from Oklahoma and around Oklahoma more of the deer woman. But yeah, go ahead, Mr. Kyle.
Now, I don't know if I'm giving the international one or but I remember the one that was told. Well, I think I remember because that she was a prince or just a very, very beautiful lady within the tribe. You know, was set to marry off to someone that she didn't want to be married to. And the suitor that she was wanting to marry was off at war and all the time. So I guess she was one evening was going to break it to this man, that she didn't want to be with him and her true love was off and was coming home. And I guess he didn't take it very well, so he ended up lifting her, attempting to off her. And then that's where for us, listen, the story gets changed 3 different ways, I guess, in teachings to teach you certain things. One was she was off, and and in her dying breath, great white deer walked up. She asked him, just please let me get my revenge. I'll be your servant, do whatever you need. And he granted her this, and she took her revenge. And that's why she's this entity that protects women. And if anything's going wrong with them, somebody's going to gang up on them and stuff like that and hear them stories. Oh, well, this was happening, and the deer woman showed up. The second one was told that she was a medicine woman, and she, in her dying breath, casting medicine on herself to come take revenge.
Mm.
And then the third one was that straight up devil had came to her and her and let you have this, and you're going to work to be this evil spirit the rest of your life. And she took the offer. Some of the 3 I've always heard growing up.
Wow, that's we don't have deer women on our side.
It's like the
but we
first
do
one
hear
is
from-
the common one. Like, if you're a man, you be nice to women, treat them with respect, or else deer women will come get you. And then the other two were like play with medicine stories. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that does. Man, that's some Darren was saying that's some dark stories of the deer woman. um uh one more time there. Hold on there, Kyle. Let me ask the chat there if they can hear you well there. Darren, how's Kyle? Can you hear him well? Can you hear him just fine?
I can hear him. It's kind of fuzzy, but you can make out the words. So
Oh man. Okay, hang on there. How about you, the chat? Can you guys is that okay for you guys? Because we gotta keep you guys in mind, you know, if you guys don't like it, there's gonna be people on Spotify saying, hey, how can you guys oh, okay. I can't hear him well at all. He's muffed. Oh my gosh, okay.
yeah,
All right. Um Okay, Arizona Turtles, bro, says he sounds good. Sounds gooders, he said. Uh all right, look. This is kind of hard. This is a live show. Everyone out there, this is not scripted, not planned. The only mic check that we have is 10 minutes before the show. And before the show was okay, and it did get a little worse as the show was going. So we resorted to a phone call, and I don't know. I can hear him, but I can't. Oh, geez. Okay. Uh, maybe try coming back in, Kyle, because people are having a hard time hearing you through the phone. Try coming in. I don't know if you can drive to a better spot, or if you have one, that'd be awesome. Okay. All right. Okay, everyone, hang in tight there. He's gonna try to come back in. And apologies, everyone out there. Apologies to all of you out there. Darren, the deer man. You want me to ask some question about the deer man?
Yeah, bro. I'm really curious. Like you always hear a dear woman, but you know that praise on the male audience. Then I don't. Is there a dear woman? Anybody have any stories of or dear men? Excuse me. Is there any stories of dear men? That prey on the mischievous of womenness out there. So hey, maybe.
Probably. I mean, if there's a mermaid, there's a merman. For sure.
Exactly.
Sure.
Right. If there's a breeding population, man, I'm pretty sure there's a deer man out there for the
Yeah.
mischievous ladies out there. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Arizona told bro says stand on the hill. Oh, there he is. Hey, looks like he's a lot better. Hey, I don't know what you did. That's a lot better, brother.
I
That's a
had to
lot
get
better.
out
You
and walk.
can see the humidity around you.
I
Nice.
had to get out and walk. I had to get out and walk around.
Heck yeah. Make some elk calls, man. Maybe you'll call them the deer woman,
Ooh,
Get her in the
what?
heat. No, I'm just kidding.
I have to be careful with my. I have to be careful with my skinny stories now.
Mm,
Oh no. Let it out. Let it all hang. No, just
Oh
kidding.
yeah, got to. I owe it to y'all.
mm.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, man. It's a lot better, man. Like day and night. Good thing. Everyone in the chat here. See, look at right here. Sorry to get you out of your comfort zone, man. Nivea's Angel says, sorry, Kyle. I would really love to hear your stories. No worries, Darren and Don. But I don't know if you can find a hill. Turtle Arizona Bro says stand on the hill. But however, you are a lot clearer and a lot better now. So 4K now, someone says right here. Okay.
All
So
right.
we're gonna carry off from the deer woman story there. Darren loves to ask a lot of questions. I do myself in the chat. You in the chat listening, ask questions if you want, and we'll do what we can. Go ahead, Kyle. It's all you.
Yeah, we left off after the deer woman. So what was the next? It's me chronologically again.
Yep. That was just a branch out right there. Go ahead. It's all you.
The next one that I kind of remember that she was talking about. I know we were talking about asking me any dog man stories, and
Oh,
I don't remember like They're telling a Pacific dog man or hearing one, but I remember them telling one that kind of went that a lady was being rude to a pack of dogs or just like really ill-hearted toward animals. And I guess she was being ill-hearted to the wrong dog or to the right dog. And she was told, like, you keep on, your kids are gonna come out like that. And I've heard multiple encounters that when she did have children, her child came out looking like a dog.
Hmm.
And they said that they lived around in the area and then kind of moved more into the woods, to live secluded because her child had looked like a dog.
So even better, that's probably a story of caution to all you animal lovers out there. Take care of your animals. You might just piss off the wrong one and get turned into one. So, hey,
Damn. That's
The
crazy right
tree
there.
and the trees too. They can't whip you. Hey,
Yep.
another old saying.
What's up, Navajo Ace? Yep. So out of out in Oklahoma, you get there's a lot of sightings of the dog man as well there, correct?
Yeah, I have to dive into it, but yeah, I know there is a lot more in Choctaw country though than it is for now for us.
Hmm.
But I mean, I'm chronologically I'm jumping way ahead, but while we're on it, over the winter, I was going into work, and me and my old lady, well, I thought somebody, which is just odd anyway, I thought somebody was up at like 4:30 in the morning feeding deer out of their hand, but that's weird anyway to see. So I'm like, hey,
Damn.
look, that dude's feeding deer. So my old lady looks over there and she kind of just turns back and just grips the steering wheel and just keeps driving. And so we go through the whole day, and I'm talking to people at work about it. I'm like, man, I seen this dude feeding deer, and everybody was like, oh yeah, it's common around here. I'm like, no, it's not. So then it probably gets to the end of the day, and getting in the car, and I'm riding home, and I'm like, man, I was like, I've been thinking about that dude feeding them deer off the side of the highway in the moonlight all day. And then my old lady looks at me and she goes, you seen a man in overalls feeding deer, right? I said, yeah. She goes, I seen a wolf feeding wolves in overalls. So
Huh.
I sit there and I start thinking about it. And sure enough, she was right. Because you know how when you sit back and you play something back, she's like, I remember it like this. I was sitting there, I was like, you know what? Sure enough, his white tail was up inside of the overalls and kind of tucked back down. And when we had went and the lights were shining on him, it took his face, turned it like that.
Wow.
I said, that was crazy. And I guess what I thought were deer was wolves.
Whoa. Man, that's something else, man, right there. But hey, we're all about it, bro. Keep it rolling. Kind of got the
Yeah.
chills just hearing that, dude. Ugh.
I mean,
Um
that's the problem with trying to stay in chronological order, especially where I come. That's why I told them highly strange. Oklahoma is a highly strange place. McIntosh County, that's the county I'm in, is a highly strange county. Eufaula
Macintosh.
is a highly strange town. Like
You fuck.
there's work out there by other podcasters, that can cover anything I don't cover about that
Mhm.
area. It's like a
Hmm.
hotbed, especially even for the nation.
Man, to the listeners out there, he just was telling a story about a dog man wearing a man's clothes, like coverall, work clothes type of deal. So if you guys missed that story, woo wee, that
Yeah,
was a good
yeah,
one.
man. Ugh. Yeah, that's just something else. That brings you back to your classic werewolf, thing, wearing clothes. Uh, when I think of that, I think of like the Tim Burton animated film.
I don't
So,
I don't think I was sharing stories with the pod pot yet or things, but there was an encounter down in Choctaw country that almost made national headlines. And the way it started off before it simmered down was The lady said she was going outside helping a friend out feeding livestock. And she said that as she was feeding the livestock, she just felt something dog like grab her and just start going at her back, like slashing her, biting her, and this and this and that. And it caught so much attention, and just crazy how quick it went from catching all this attention to even where Fish and Wildlife was like, man, we don't know what that is. Like, we should go investigate. Like, it doesn't match anything. And as like it just kept going and going, it's like they killed it off too. Because when they came back, they was like, oh yeah, she was attacked by a feral dog. So yeah, when you hear the lady's eyewitness encounters, it didn't sound like she was attacked by a feral dog. 'Cause she said she was out there feeding that livestock one minute, and the next minute, whatever it was on her.
Very
Got it.
fast. Very fast. It sounds like Hanson's story. Remember that dog man charging him? How it
Yeah.
cut 50 yards just like that. It was right on top of him.
Mm.
Man, that's scary right there. Hey, someone's behind you, Kyle. Nah, just kidding.
Yeah. I was talking with some elders about that too, and they, one elder was like, he went ahead and told me, he was like, you don't hear him talk about it much no more. He goes, but that's one of them old ways too of getting at you, is to sick that dog man on you. So I'm sure somebody still knows them ways, and they made somebody mad. Because, if anything's easy to do in Indian country, it's make somebody mad.
Dad, I hate to say it, but that's just a fact, bro. But piss him off and you get a dogman sent on you. Oh shoot.
Dog man, big old owl, Bigfoot.
Out that way, the dog man uses mind speak, or does it like speak with its mouth?
Both.
Both, huh?
Both. But it'd be like kind of like, well, I don't want to say for y'all because I know I don't know them ways like that, and I don't want to sound ignorant, but you can deal with an entity, like we were just saying, or put it like this, or someone could gush you the entity into coming to you too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because them ways still exist. So like, it's a
sure.
sad thing. You could be in the woods one day and like literally be dog man, or like we said, make somebody mad, or somebody knows how to do something, and they send that whatever it is after you.
So on the Dogman, they have like Twilight. You seen that movie that they had the two teams, and one was a werewolf, and that was a Native American dude. You think? Do you think there's a correlation between these? I always hear about these dogmans around Native American burial grounds. So the media they put out little stuff here and there, but I tend to think that, or maybe I'm just catching a little bit here and there. But what's your take on that? What do you think?
And that's a good question. In a similar ballpark, I was gonna ask y'all and Mr. Lee, like, what do y'all think that Lugaroo and Rougarou is? Is that like is it really witchcraft, or do y'all think that's the first time medicine was turned into witchcraft?
You know what? I think this is the first time someone asked us the question. Tell you, I'm not really sure. That's the first time right there. But I do believe in witchcraft. That's one thing I think all of us can agree on. As much as people try to play it off, but there are works that play in the darkness, and some of them I did see. I did see some. And I can tell, all I can do is tell the audience, witchcraft is real. If it wasn't real, it wouldn't have been in the Bible, So the fact that people can turn into animals is not an unknown subject to us. We have or skinwalkers or Yannies out here that do, they do transform into animals. So the people have certain knowledge, certain information that that is dark. It's always going to be in the shadows. So, uh, like you were saying, it's easy to piss off a native, and just to have them send out a Uluguru. Uh, Personally, I have my encounter with a dog man out there in Farmington, and from what I seen, it didn't look it didn't look fake. It didn't look fake at all. It looked like it was an animal, an actual
Organic.
living animal. But with these
Uh,
Yannies, these skinwalkers, when you see them, there's usually something off with them. It's more likely in the eyes, as we understand. It's in the eyes, or they look, not proportional, or just, they look fake.
yeah,
So
they say that our way too. Because when you hear us speak of a Stegini, the modern day thing given is the big old owl with red eyes. That's what you'll hear a lot of them talk about back this way,
Lechusa.
and
I was
it's
gonna
not
say the Lechusa. In
it's not
Mexico, they
just
have that too. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah. Yeah, but it's not always like that, like you said, because the stronger someone is, or like you said, whomever you made mad and whoever they went and hired, let's just say it like that. You know what I mean? It depends on what level or how far down the rabbit hole they went. I'll just say it like
mhm.
that. If
Yeah.
they're true to their art, like you said, the only way you're going to be able to tell that, hey, that's somebody messing around. It's like you said, something's going to be off in the way the animal acts. Like, it's going to walk different. His eyes
Yep.
are going to look different. Um,
Yep.
a lot of what I hear y'all talk about too, and like, is like, I've heard y'all speak of it a lot, like spirits. You know how they'll say they'll see spirits with the big mouths
Mm.
and stuff like this. It's like, a lot of times what you don't hear us talk about is medicine can be done to make these things happen too. That could have very well 5 minutes ago been a dog, and
Right.
somebody done something to it. And now you got that thing walking around.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for
Or it did
sure.
it itself, because like we just talked about, I very well believe in evil itself too.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna just put it all on medicine and people being ill-hearted, because I know the essence of that started from essentially evil.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And for the Navajo listeners out there, he did say Gushy. He's a Muskogee from Oklahoma, and he does know some Navajo. Everyone's like, "Did he just say Gushy?"
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm from the Odiga. I'm from the Odigas tribe out there.
Ooh.
See, I stuttered when I said it. That's how you know it's official.
That's what's up, man. That's why
If
I
it ain't
bust out
that,
laughing too when he said that. Yeah, I got gushy. And I cracked up laughing. I was like,
I guess,
yeah,
and I
you
guess
you
my
did live
Che,
on the ridge for sure.
I guess my Che was Yadala tribe. Hey.
Yeah. And we're all right there too.
but,
Yeah, man,
but
that's what's
yeah,
up though.
man. This when I talk to you about this plot of land that I'm on, to what I'm understanding and knowing, that's the original 140 allotment too from when we got moved over that stayed in the family. So my grandma also says, the Trail of Tears ran right through the back, basically the backyard. And with that being said, they would tell stories of seeing our elders and ancestors in the woods. Like, you would see them spirits
Oh yeah.
on that long walk.
What's up, Navajo
'Cause,
Ace?
they
Oh
wanted to
yeah, the
make it
forced
too.
relocation.
Yeah. I seen one time when I was little playing. I guess if I wouldn't have been so little, it would have been more scarier. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But yeah, man, full blown, just old school Indian sitting there in his mocks, loincloth, sitting there holding on to a tree, just kept peeking out, looking at me, seeing what I was doing. I was playing with my trucks in the dirt.
Wow. Now, they talk about, when you talk about spirits, when the media talks about spirits, they don't really say that it was peeking around, like it was looking observing. They don't really talk about that too. So I wonder if that's a sign of like some type of travel. Spirits poking out and looking. It's really weird, but man, that's creepy, bro. That's getting the fix right now. So, ooh.
This will tie back in too. If man, I got a lot, so hey, you don't have to cut me off.
You,
But
you're good.
it'll
You're
tie back
good.
into one of my stories eventually that I'm able to share with y'all. Is like when we talk about these traveling spirits. Also a lot of us, the Jadi, or that's how we say it, or us Muskogee people, believe that these people can travel when they go on. A lot of them traditionally believe that they travel and can come and go as they please, as you need them, and then the church ones feel like they travel home one last time, so you might catch them. A lot of families have caught their loved ones traveling home. Like, I think you were touching on this y'all's way, but it's the same for us. Like, when someone goes, you have 4 days to get their burial ready and
Yep.
try to get them in that ground before 4 days because, our way, it's, spirits will get on them. They'll get stuck and stay around. It could become malevolent because they're not happy anymore.
Mhm.
Somebody could steal them for medicine purposes.
Yep.
Or evil spirits could steal the body for whatever they want it for, or just anything, or even these legendary monsters that we speak of might want it just because it's there. It's unguarded. You know what I mean? It's traveling. It's a vessel in between. That's how they always said it. So
Yep.
they'll do things like immediate family will stay with the body until the funeral. Just stay up overnight, make sure.
That's a
For
very
both
real thing.
sides.
Yeah, that's a real thing too, man. That the living or the dead, evil spirits would want human spirit. Right now, we're working on. We're going to be dealing with spirits here in a bit on the Patreon. We are doing investigations, and one of them is a spirit that's been caught and is placed in a certain area. I'm not going to give too much information off on that, but it's a real thing. Witchcraft is a real thing, and I can't stress it enough. I'll say it as much as I can, but hey, people,
Hey, I'm right there. Hey, I'm right there
yeah,
with you. You can't not stress it enough. I mean, it's like as much as anybody that's religious could preach to you that religion, a Native American can sit there and only preach to you that, this medicine is real,
mm,
whether it's good or bad.
yep, and that's what's
And
up
it
too,
being
man.
very real.
But the sad that, but like, I had even asked recently, some of my peers and people my age, why? Why do you think, the world is coming like this? Or why do you think you're having to deal with so much evil and bad? And then, my brother-in-law looked at me and he goes, because of the way we live nowadays, society. He goes, there wasn't money back then either. So all you had to do was go off of what Creator told you. So people were more afraid to do bad medicine. But then as, society changed and this way of thinking came in and that money came in, it stopped being so unthought of to hurt somebody over $100, $200 in a way that can't be detected. Like we can all go talk to our reservation cops. And what's the first thing they're gonna tell you? We have to respond to calls about mystical beings, about medicine in play. We can't not. So it like I said, it's real. You can even go ask law enforcement and they'll tell you, yeah. I
Yep.
reported to a call yesterday about it.
Yeah, that is true. But my father is a Navajo Nation PD former, and he does say pretty much like, yeah, this is what happened, and this is, this is the witchcraft that happened to us. It's a different form, out there, and I guess you would say, your America police department, is very different than a reservation PD. They tackle with everything, man. You name it. Uh, Witchcraft, dogman, ghosts, spirits, UFOs. It's a trip, dude. It really is. And we are working on trying to get the Navajo Rangers on. So, hey, wish us luck, man. So we'll get that part.
Be a good one.
Yeah. Hopefully they reach out, and if it does, it might be a Patreon exclusive interview for sure. And going back to the witches, and we have quite a few questions going back to that. Some people are asking, are the skinwalkers and the werewolf dogman or the same thing? And I would say no, because experiencing a skinwalker in a werewolf form, seeing it, and actually being around multiple Bigfoots, some looking like a orangutan, and some looking like a huge monkey man. Monkey man. And around the Navajo Nation, there was a man that fed one. And in the Sasquatch world, the Bigfoot world, there's 23 different types of Sasquatches, and I learned that off of William Jevening, my predecessor. And the witches can take a werewolf form, and there is telltale signs of them when they are in that form. Whether they'll always have a bag, a little medicine bag, that there'll be a satchel that they'll have, and sometimes they'll have a Navajo kilt or they'll have paint. Those are the telltale signs that it's a witch. And if it's a dog man, Darren, he gave really the best description of it, and I've heard multiple descriptions of the dog man looking more like a hyena, and its ears is not as pretty. Like Randy said, it's not pretty like a German Shepherd. It's kind of off to the side and almost like a bear dog type of deal, and its face is like a hyena. And even down to the Navajo cop out in Kaibito area, he said he looked in the rearview mirror and he saw like a werewolf, but that one was a skinwalker type of deal. So there's a fine line with a werewolf and a skinwalker, and usually it's someone that they know, or a family member that you're dating, a girl or somebody you crossed. So all right.
Be knocking on your back door talking about, let me in, you know who I am.
Oh yeah, I can't wait till you get to that story. Kyle has a really, really great example of that story encounter, which really did happen. And I really did think they put you back to sleep and cut your hair or took your chonies, something. They took something off of you.
That's why I see them crows in it. They're always in 3 to 4. Sir. And every time I say something, they'll be gone for a couple of days, but then they'll be back. And while I'm on this little part, let me tell y'all something. You know how us natives are always talking about, listen to the animals and they talk. Or, if you're being spied on, if you listen real well, like you can almost hear them talk. One time I'm getting ready to come out, right? And there's 2 crows sitting out there. I see them. I'm not paying no attention. I'm walking with my head down. And I hear that first crow go, that him? Like in a bird voice, you know what I mean? Looks at me, that him? The other crow goes, It's crazy.
Yes, sir, man. If you listen to, the animals around you, they'll tend to speak to you. But that's very unique, man. I like that.
All right. Serious. After okay, going back to chronological order, okay, so you left off on the deer woman, huh? Going back to your stories.
Yeah, and then we kind of was playing into the land into the house. sitting back. Another thing that would happen a lot too when I was younger is, staying there. And that time my mom was off in college was we would be sitting down or laying down. So I was young enough. My grandma kept me in the room with her still. And I would ask her, I'm like, hey, you been talking in the living room? And she would be like, what? And sometimes she would get up and she would go check, because I would scare her. And then she would come back and she would tell me, that's when she would tell me these things about, well, the Trail of Tears just went back behind the house, or she would tell me, there's somewhere there used to be a what do you call them things? I don't know. Trolley, like horse and trolley, like there's a station out there that they would stop at along the way. So I don't know if it was like in the house vicinity where they laid the foundation or what, but that's what it would sound like people were talking like in a terminal. But as I got older, it was just one of them things too. As I got older, it just faded out. Like I can maybe hear it in the house sometimes, like if I'm like real dead tired. And I'll be like, man, there's talking in the kitchen. Another thing we have happen to us all the time though is like we'll hear our names. Like anybody in the house, we'll hear our names get called out the blue.
Man, don't even say that, dude. I have that happen a couple of times a year. Oh man, and one of the weirdest ones is I respond and I look back and I looked up on top of the house. You're like, ain't no human gonna be on top of a house like that, Like what the heck?
Man.
Well,
I keep spoiling it, having to keep going on out of chronological. Well, I can keep going. Let me just keep pushing. So that, we go into that, and that goes into that time with that one. My grandma was explaining that, and that's goes into that and that happening because she would hear her name like her son, like my grandpa called him. I would too. Like he would always walk in the house late. Oh, what it was? He was a late breakfast type of guy. He was that Indian guy. He wanted to come in late when he was hauling wood or doing this, or he was a pastor too, so I'm guessing coming back from church duties. So he would sometimes come in there, he'd bust in there, Mom. And every so often she would hear that, Mom, I would too. And like we'd get up, flip on the lights, nobody'd be there.
Yeah.
And then, that one always baffled me because as I got older and started hearing stories they would tell you, at night, you even be cautious about when you go call your dog back in. Because they said, entities or Bigfoot or whatever can mimic it. And out there on that property, one time I was calling my dog like that one night and I wasn't thinking nothing of it. And right as he walked in, I was getting ready to shut the door. I heard the same thing I was saying coming from that wood line. Scared me. I just one of them things. Oh, that's real. Shut the door. Went lay back down. It's like another thing about being native. It's when we hear these myths and tales. It's not so much that they're even myths and tales. It's just either you've lived it yet or you haven't lived it yet.
Right.
And the same thing about when we tell stories. Like my stories are creepy and scary, but I know there's people out there that could tell you stories that make you never go outside again.
Yeah, for sure. Even look at the moon too, because it's really hard to imagine a gargoyle flying up there and on the moon and then diving down towards you to scoop you up. That happened outside of Page, so I don't know if you've seen the gargoyle in your time out there. But we'll wait till we get to the Page stories. But yeah, man.
I better hurry.
No, you're good, man. We can do part 3, part 10, whichever, man. You're family now, so
I'm always willing to come on. I'm always willing to come on and make y'all feel nervous.
Heck yeah. My time living out in Oklahoma, I was near the Ozarks, or I was living like right on the Ozarks where it started. And I look into those forests because I used to work in the graveyard shift, and I knew there was something out there all the time, especially when I worked closer to the fence, filling eyeballs on you. And I just brushed it off as possums. As possums watching me, it's all right. So I just brushed things off, and man, I wish I knew there was things out there. I would have ran around instead of drinking my money away at the time. That's made a lot of bad decisions. But next time I head out there, I'm going to be looking for monsters.
Oklahoma will do that.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Before we go any further, BCast33, message me, brother, because right here he says, the lady he was talking about, saying she was attacked by a dog man-like creature, still has a GoFundMe for her surgeries. What? I got definitely got to ask her a few questions. And then another one says, Alan Garrigan, my American friend saw a Bigfoot in the Mark Twain National Forest and described it as looking like a Chewbacca with yellow eyes. Oh yeah,
Mm.
that's how my Bigfoot was. He had amber eyes, but he was red. Um, MJ Ecofruit, I met with our spiritual practitioner. He confirmed that they have a lonely Bigfoot in their area. Oh geez. Nivea says, and he can stay lonely. Yeah, he's probably looking for a
Where?
wife.
Out here?
Probably in the Navajo Nation area.
Oh,
MJ Yucca Fruit, send me a DM. Send me a DM. Definitely would like to get more information on that. Okay, before we read any more comments here, one more right here. Mary Beecher says, do people from Skinwalker Ranch have any idea what skinwalkers really are? If not, they should watch these podcasts. Oh,
Oh
very
yeah,
much agreed, Mary
tune in.
Beecher.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right, Mr. Kyle, you go for it, brother. Continue on your life's events. Go for it, brother.
all right. The next one that's chronologically in there, and this is kind of a good one too, is we were around the corner on the same property at my aunt's house. It was me and all my cousins. We were playing up by her road. She had an old cattle gate. That's her privacy gate at the front. So we were swinging back and forth on that, playing around. There was a couple walking up the road, which this is like late 90s, early 2000s. So, it was real rural back then where I'm talking about. But yeah, there's this couple walking and they see us and they're walking past us. And as he gets far enough past us to where he would have to, just like an owl, he turned his whole head back around and waved at us. Oh man, it scared us all to death. I went running back into the house and ran to my aunt. 'Cause she was still alive at the time and told her. I guess she knew who it was or knew. She was like, oh, such and such is just messing with y'all. And she went up there to the road and waited till they were walking back. And she really got onto whoever it was. But that's one that I don't think will ever get out of my mind, seeing a human be able to spin his head all the way around like that and wave.
Yeah.
I'd ask my cousins if they remember that.
Yeah, it's kind of those old family stories. You see something when you're a kid, and then you grow up and like, you remember that? Like, bro, you just go back and just live the moment again. That's creepy.
Same, same pack of cousins, because it's a little out of chronological order, but same pack of cousins. We're all mid teenagers now. And we're in Lake Eufaula off the cove. We're sitting there, and you know how water ripples, so you think like it creates mud barges. So there's six of us out there, including myself, and we're thinking that we're on a mud barge. And somebody's like, "Hey man, if we're on a mud barge, this mud barge just moved." And, there always has to be that one cousin that goes, "Huh?" My one cousin, she goes, "Huh?" And she starts kicking it.
Mm.
Boom, boom. About that third time, whatever it was, swam out from underneath six of us. And at the time, we were chest high in the water. All of us were. And whatever it was, swam out from underneath all of us. And the water was like 2 feet over my fingertips. And whenever it swam out, I went straight down. My hand shot up like that. And I ain't never been back in that water up until like last year.
Hmm.
But, there's history behind the waters too. It's a man-made lake. Lake Eufaula is. And there were tribal towns out there, more than just one. But it's most famously known for there being one out there. And they were all predominantly Creek speaking people at the time. They said, the Army engineer, they said they came in and they told them to move, and that they're about to let these floodgates open and all that. But like I said, these people didn't speak any English. So they probably didn't understand and they ended up getting flooded out. So this lake stands over communities, churches, ceremonial grounds that, weren't able to be put to rest the right way, like how they should have been. So this lake is just consumed by all this energy, things in it. And if you like, you could even go search it. If you search Lake Eufaula, there'll be all types of cryptid stories, ghost stories, sad stories. There's always drownings, and
There's
then another.
lights,
Huh?
probably that light stories too, like lights in the forest type of
Yeah,
deal
like
too.
they'll see lights in the middle. They'll hear trains out there in the middle of the water. Are you know that? And like I said, I know there's been people that have touched on this on their pause, not to take any light away from them. I guess just take this as, they're not lying.
Right.
Because these are stories when you come down that you'll hear people tell over and over again, seeing lights, hearing cows, hearing trains out in the middle of the water. Um, my grandma used to say, I was sitting there. I think I was texting this one night when y'all were on one of y'all's lives. And I was like, y'all were talking about something. And I was like, yeah, my grandma used to say, don't let nobody lonely go by the water. Because whatever they're lonely for, they'll see it in the water and they'll dive in after it. So they say that water's alive too and has to be respected.
Yeah. Can't disturb the water at night too, especially during the full moon. Can't disturb it. Yeah, they have like a lot of water babies that come out at certain times of the night. And one of our lives on TikTok, you were there. I don't know if you kept hearing me and my little brother saying, "Hey, we keep hearing voices, like a deep voice speaking,"
Mm.
and then we would hear like a huge rock fall into the river. Like boom, and we're like, "Oh snap!" The whole time we're on the live with you guys at the river that night. Yeah, so there's water spirits, Bigfoots, cryptids, La Llorona. Oh yeah, do you guys have like a La Llorona out that way?
I don't know if it'd be that per se, but like you said, you'll hear like children or women crying or screaming when they're down by the
Hmm.
water side, and they'll be looking and shining out in the light and all that. And then you'll get them too to where like they'll see like splashing or like think a kid is drowning and they'll run off in the water. And that plays into like you're saying, but you really just shouldn't be by the water at night. Or they'll even go into, or if you are, don't be weak minded. And then we were, people have drowned that way, and they were like, well, what happened? What made them go into the water? And most of the time, sometimes they've had drinks, and that ain't even what got them. It's just affected. Like when you hear the stories back, they'll be like, well, we heard a kid, and then we heard flashing or splashing. So we were checking it out. When they go, there's nothing in it. Either they'll come to their senses, or whatever it is, claims their life. I heard I heard one from a coworker, and he was talking about, being down there in them coastal areas. He said that an alligator will roll on its belly, stick its hands up and thrash like that, so you'll think it's a kid drowning
Oh,
in a way to get a human.
yeah, dude. I seen a video of that, dude. That guy went up there. I think he was on a boat, and he went and grabbed a little hand, and it was a freaking alligator. Like, what the heck?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, gone this song.
right.
Yeah, I seen that. It's kind of disturbing.
Mhm.
It's scary, man.
Kind of brings me into
People
out
out.
of
Oh,
chronological order, but that bring me into my coworkers too, and then some of their stories that they shared with me. Because I'd be binge watching pods, y'all's and other people's that I listen to. And, they would get into it and start sharing their stories and telling me things. And two of them that stuck with me was my coworker one time speaking on, medicine and things like that. They were traveling. He said that it was one of his cousins and two of his friends. Three of them were traveling back. I don't know what they were doing, partying, chilling, whatever they were doing. And there was a big owl that they came across in the road and they hit it. So they was like, oh man, they hit an obscenely big owl. So they were like, all right. So they got out. And unlike my story, I guess it was still there. So they're like, oh, dang, we killed this big owl. So they each took an owl feather from it. And they went on, and they went on they went on home and about their days. And he tells the story and he goes, first friend dies mysteriously. Just have a heart attack out the blue, drops dead. So they're dealing with that, go to that funeral. Second friend, 2 days after that funeral, gets in a car wreck, ends up losing his life. Dude's cousin, I guess, starts freaking out, finally goes and talks to his family, because I'm guessing they have Native American, family members. And they were like, you should go put them feathers back. Y'all should have never took nothing like that from anything like that. Y'all should have just hit it and went on about y'all's way. So he goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, I better, because, things are getting weird, which, yeah, that's weird. So he's like, all right. So he's scared. He goes, so he finally gathers his feather, finds it, or he's trying to look for it. So he goes, I can't find it. So he goes back to that site. Just something tells him to go back to that site. And when he got back to that site where they hit that owl, he said that his feather was there and his two friends' feathers were already there, sitting on that spot. And that comes from a non-native, and that's a Stiginic story.
Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
basically like, he goes on to be like, whoever that person was just messed with him. He's like,
That's
I gave
horrible.
him survivor's guilt, basically.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's one
And then
thing
the
to live with.
second,
Yeah. It sucks. Yeah.
same coworker goes on to tell another story of his own, speaking about the water and all that. I guess one night he was down there and he was catfishing one night. So he said that he went and sat his pole down. He was sitting a little bit more back, using the moonlight, just in case like a hog ran up on him or something. So he'd be more ready for it. So he said he was sitting there, and he was sitting there. He said he starts hearing drumming. Doom, 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 doom. So he's like, what? So he said he starts looking around. He's like, I'm looking, high, medium level, all around. He goes, there's something tells me, check the shore. He goes, because the moonlight was illuminating the shore. So he said when he looked down at the moonlight, he said he seen a whole bunch of little people down by the water. And the pack of them were washing clothes. And one of them was serenading them with a drum.
Mm.
And he said he said he gets experiences like that all the time. Is this just normal? He goes, I leave them alone and they leave me alone. I said, man, that's awesome.
Right. Yeah, man. It's a unique thing, man. I could say that too. Like, just all this paranormal stuff is just common. It's just a common thing that happens, and all you can do is just like, oh yeah, they're right there. That light's gonna come up here. Look, check it out. Or you hear
Yeah.
voices and stuff like that's here in the house. So hey, out there in the land too, man. So it's all you can do is just kind of laugh about it, dude. But I hear you on that.
No. Oh man, the house is just a hotbed, like I said. So we'll just chronological order. We'll just kind of move on, So eventually, my mom graduates out, and she moves me back up to her. She stayed off living in Lawrence, Kansas. She went to high school, so she brings me up there after she graduates. And the only major one I remember until she moved into her house, because she had a house built to Habitat of Humanity. So we'll get into that. But this brings me to one that's a good one that people like that I tell. And that's that one of, my mom made friends. She made friends with this particular lady. One was a Navajo, one was a Ute. They were my aunts because, my mom's college friends and all that. But anyways, they were sitting there babysitting me one day when she was at work. And me, I'm being a regular old rambunctious kid, probably getting on their nerves, wanting to play, wanting this, wanting that. And then, finally, like I said, not to just use names like that. It's the only way I can do it. My Danette auntie goes, hey, I got something that'll keep your mind, you know what I mean? Keep your mind occupied. She goes, you want to see a magic trick? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. She goes, all right. She goes, what? She goes, all right, I'm going to shut your mom's door. She goes, I'm going to go in your mom's closet. And she goes, before you know it, I'm going to be knocking on the front door. I'm like, huh? So she goes and does it. And like I said, when she reminisce back on stories, she would go. She did it the first time, came knocking on the door. I'm like, man, that's cool. And do it again. All right. So she goes and she does it again. I'm gonna keep having her do it. So she's probably done it like 3 or 4 times now. And then I'm sitting there and I'm starting to get like put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, how's she doing this? Because like the apartments we lived in were like old college apartments. So they had the little sliding window up top like that. So A, it wasn't really big enough for her to get out of anyway. You know, she was a pretty petite lady. B, you would have heard her going in and out of this window. So she's doing that and doing that. And so finally my Ute aunt catches on or just got annoyed, you know, being a native woman. Why you keep knocking on the door? Why you keep coming in and out? So she asked her, she goes, hey, she goes, what are you doing anyway? So she goes, nothing, I'm doing a magic trick to keep him occupied. She goes, okay, but what are you doing? She goes, well, I'm going in here. And she goes, and I'm appearing outside and coming and knocking on the door. So she goes, she goes, show me. So then them two go in. I wasn't allowed to go in. So now it's her and my aunt go in there. And she does whatever she did. And boy, by the time she came back, whatever she was doing, by the time she came back in, my aunt stormed out there and was like, hey man, you don't be doing that. You don't do that here. We don't need none of that. That ain't no magic trick. So I gotta prove my theory right too about, yep, she wasn't going out that little window. But you know, now that we talk and now that I'm remembering back, and I'm not just trying to add essence to it, it's just I really do remember that. Every time she would do that, I would hear
Hmm.
So that would put hand in hand with when I came on Told the Story the first time with what the panel was telling me about, you know, if she was probably doing something and going through like a little crack or something.
This just making her body turn to mist through crack. She just goes like this and then supernaturally. So that aunt must have lost her shit, man.
Yeah, because she stood in there, whatever she did. Because I wasn't even allowed to go in the room. Because that's what she told me. She goes, no, you got to stay out here. She goes, if you do it with you in the room, she goes, it won't. What I'm trying to do won't work.
Oh yeah.
Either that or she didn't want me to get freaked out like my aunt did.
Both. Everyone's like, yee, magic tricks.
But I don't know why.
Like,
But then
yikes.
again, I don't know why she would have showed. I don't know why she would have showed my other aunt that either, unless she was trying to like warn her too. You know what I mean? I never think about that till later either.
Yeah.
Wow.
So man, yeah. So we live in this little apartment. Things like that go on. Like I never had no problem out of these two ladies though. So if she is
Must
one.
have been
Hopefully,
like
I guess she's a good one. Because like I said, I've never had no.
maybe she was taught. Maybe she was taught a little something, and that's a trick that you're gonna have to do some things to learn. I'm afraid. Maybe I mean we have a friend that is friends with a good skinwalker. That he's like the friendly neighborhood skinwalker they call him.
Yeah.
So maybe the same deal right here.
Well,
Sorry
you
about
know.
that. My cat. All right, hang on. Hang on. She wants to jump up and hear Kyle's stories too.
Wait a minute, protecting me. She heard it. She goes,
She's like, no, is that Texas accent or Oklahoma accent? Let me get a better listen here. Just kidding.
uh, both.
So
Hey.
so are you still in contact with both the Ute and the Navajo auntie, the Dene
Yeah.
auntie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out if she's a bad one or not, huh? Hear the pod.
Oh
Hear the
man.
pod come in through my closet. You quit talking about me.
Just say I have some Yazi friends that want to learn the trick off you. They're Yazi boys. They're willing to learn. Just the Yazi will speak for itself. No, just kidding. So
So,
after that part, after that experience, what else happened in your life after that event?
like I said, my mom was, we were living in there, and my mom had, graduated out, getting her life together. She, after college. So she ended up, and this time too, though, she had lost her dad and her stepmom too while we were living in this apartment. So finally her house gets built and it gets done. So we moved to another part of Lawrence. The part of Lawrence that we moved into was by the cemetery. There's only one cemetery in Lawrence that I know of, and it's a huge one. So we lived like a block away from it, I want to say. That's where this house was built. First recollection I ever have of that house was she had me stay with my grandpa the first night. I forgot what for. But anyways, that night that house ended up getting broken into. A brand new house, that's the first impression we have of it. This dang got violated. We got robbed. So like I said, then we move in and this house was just very, very odd and peculiar. Even more than the house that I'm in now. This house that I'm speaking of scares me more than what I'm telling y'all than I deal with every day at the house I'm in now. So it all starts like this. That time we also moved into this, my mom had started kind of struggling with addiction, her alcohol addiction. So
Mm.
she would go out a lot during the weekends, and I'd be home in this house alone, and I would hear scratching on the walls. Sometimes I'd hear banging on the back door, and in the first couple years, there wasn't like really, well, not first couple years, first couple months, there wasn't nobody around because it was a new housing division. So as they were getting built, people were moving in until the neighborhood got set up. So we're like one of the only houses, and boom, finally there's another neighbor. And I'm telling you, I'm hearing scratching. I'd hear like things in the garage when wasn't nobody home. Um, Windows. Someone would always be knocking on the window, or my mom would always tell me like, I heard knocking late at night, looked out the window, it looked like somebody, was looking back at me. You're not our way though, you're not supposed to look out the windows at night anyway. 'Cause they'll say you'll see whatever you're looking for. It's just one of our old that we got told. And I had that happen to me out there one time. It was like 9 o'clock at night out there. The neighborhood was more developed at this time. So that's what made me look out the windows. I'm like, dang, maybe it's one of my friends or something. So I look out the window. As I'm looking out the window, a shadow person's looking directly back in at me. And as
Yeah.
I go to run, I don't know what made me stop, but I stopped and I watched it run off. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. That one's the one that's always stuck with me too. But yeah, it came and it knocked on the door. There was a window right by the front room door, so I'm looking out that window, and as I went like that, it was ducked down, looking directly at me. And when I got startled, I guess I startled it, and it took off.
Wow. So, what do you think about these shadow people? What do you think they are? Obviously, they have some, an intelligence on them, for it to look at you, get startled, and then, run off.
I think that it just depends on either what you're around, because living in that house with it being so close to that cemetery or whatever land, because I don't know nothing about Lawrence. I mean, I do know about Lawrence, but like they don't teach you like tribe wise, like what tribes are here, what got this, what was this. You just hear about from the time Lawrence was a town. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah, like I know it got burnt down like during the Civil Wars or whatever. Quantrill came through and burnt down all of the town of Lawrence. So it's haunted enough just off of that. Then there's, like I said, that past trauma that they don't try to bring up, because I know they moved natives out there too. And then on top of that, we're living a block away from a cemetery. And I mean, the cemetery, well, I'm not explaining it right. Like on one side of the road, it's the whole cemetery. And then there's like the little conjoining part right here. So it surrounds where I used to live, basically, like on one whole side, basically. And then it's a big old trailer court, and then they just slapped a housing community right in the middle of it.
I don't
Some
know why
quiet
they do
neighbors.
that, but
Everyone wants quiet neighbors.
And then I got another one too that I'll tell you about being up there too after I get done with this one.
Mhm.
So like I said, it's more developing and the community's more developing. And I'm getting all these weird incidences happening. But when somebody's stuck in their ways or something, I'm the party pooper. So they're not worried about I'm legitimately getting freaked out, scared, creeped out. And I'm telling these things. And all I'm getting over the phone call is, well, bar closes down at 2. I'll see you then. Other than then, you're on your own. So I just finally got like hip to it. I got it. Or my grandma finally ended up coming up to help my mom out with me. And she's a very Christian woman and very just knowledgeable Native woman too. I don't want to speak down on my grandma, but I know I'm not because I grew up. This is my grandma. But why I say that she was also very Native is, she still would practice some of her medicine ways. And I would ask her, one time I asked her that too. I said, if you're supposed to be by this book and believe in God, why did you, or Jesus, I should say, not God. And she was like, well, she goes, some things are older than Jesus. She goes, and only creator knows the answer. These are the only things I know that works. Because you can pray and pray and pray and pray and pray. And sometimes she goes, that evil will just come right back. It don't care.
Even worse.
She goes,
It's
but when you go
sometimes
back to
worse.
these,
Mhm.
she goes, but when you go back to these old ways, she goes, they work. I was like, man. So, like I said, this is a weird house. Like I said, there's the knocking, the growling, the window things. And I mean, like, aggressively rattling. Like, I'd be home alone, the back door would be like, oh. I already knew what it was. You get immune to it, I guess. Like, you'd hear doors opening and shutting. And then finally, one night, one incident I'll never forget is my grandma had went home one weekend back to Oklahoma. We were still up there. My mom ended up going out. And it took me years and years to figure, like, think of what I had seen. And I'm telling you, I think I seen Goat Man. And what
Oh,
it was
really?
I think he was just letting me know, like, for now, man, I got your mom in a grasp. And there ain't nothing. That's why he showed himself to me, because that was the way of, like, really breaking us. But anyways, he walked out of my mom's room and into our bathroom because they were kind of adjacent. And the way I seen him, he was green, black hair. His horns were rolled like this, and they stopped right here. His eyes were bloodshot red, and he was green. He walked out my mom's room, and he
Oh,
stopped in the hallway, and he just looked at me for like a hot second. Till he waited till I caught eyes with him, and he just walked into the bathroom.
oh,
And it
man,
was the same thing.
this is inside a house, huh?
Yeah.
Man, dang, dude, that's you go home and you lay your head down to rest, and then you have a freaking green. Is it was it a green skinned or is it green hair?
No, he had black hair. He had like green skin.
Green skin. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So, the way I see a goat man, it's bare skin from the below the waist type deal. Just how the little those old cartoons depicted it. Is that how?
On how to he might have had on like fur pants, but to me, just being scared and seeing that emulating green, and I'm guessing like where he would have goated off was black fur, and then where it would go down to his hooves and ankles and where the fur would stop, it was green again,
Hmm.
and black hooves, and the ugliest red eyes you would ever see.
Ugh.
Like the
Uh,
closest thing I could almost get to is that thing off of is it Angel? Remember when his buddy, like the little comedy relief, the green thing,
Angel.
the TV show.
Oh man, I need to tune into that, dude. I need to watch that right now because
But that,
hey,
like just that color green and them ugly red eye, but like a completely different look. Because I think that was like supposed to be a demon. Unless it wasn't goat, man. It was just a straight up alcohol spirit. It was just that strong. It was able to show itself like that.
man, I like that. I
Was
like
your
that.
was your mom sipping on grandpa's cough medicine during the time, or was there any like open
That's
beverages
yeah.
around?
My mom was pretty bad. Her addiction for a long time. And this was
Oh, jeez.
like like I said, this was after like the scratching, the knocking, the hearing things in that house, just the weird abrupt things. I I guess after she had got her house, the, of her losing her mom and her dad, basically, she didn't take it right. She turned to the alcohol. So he would come and go, and it would correlate with my grandma. Them two having a bad relationship, and then these things would happen in this house. And then I'm gonna get to another thing with all this too, though, is like this will lead me up into my second incident with some spirits or with something weird and just within this house happened. One night, I'm setting up later watching TV. My grandma just being the older native woman she is. Nighttime, even for us creeks, that's a no-no. You're supposed to be asleep. There's nothing more you can do once the sun goes down.
Mm.
Farming's done. All the activities are done. Now them legendary monsters and creatures and spirits that we speak of and warn you of, this is their time. So we respect that. We let them have it. Tell me what else. Hey man, you ain't go bad, man. Can't nothing go good. But I think I was up watching like Godzilla. Sci-fi used to have the bomb marathons out the blue. It was a Godzilla marathon on sci-fi. So I was up trying to watch it. So she tells me that, and she goes off, and like 30 minutes later, I see her standing there. And I'm like, that's weird. I was like, that's weird. My grandma just went to bed. And I'm looking at her, but then I notice not only is she standing there, but she's hovering a good 2 feet off the ground. Her eyes are whited over. Her eyes are
Damn.
whited over. She's sitting there, and I'm like, what the hell? And so I get scared. I'm like, because it was like real quick, you know what I mean? And then she was gone. And then I was like, what? So I go check on her. And she just my grandma had happened to just been up, sitting in her bed. And she asked me when I went back there to ask her to let her know what happened to me. She looks at me and she goes, Chaban, which means boy in our language. She goes, Chaban, didn't you just come in here? I said, no. I said, I'm just now coming in here. I said, didn't you just come in the living room? She goes, no, I've been laying right here. I thought I just got done talking to you. She goes, but now that you said that, she goes, when I seen you, you had white eyes.
Man, man, that like, where can you put that? I sit there and I'm trying to. I'll think about this, man. I'll think about this a lot more after after we're done here. But man, that is I don't even know if would be called a haunted house, dude. That seems more like almost like a possession type deal.
It might have been leading into that because that'll lead me into another chronological story. History Channel had a documentation one time on exorcisms, and
Mm.
I had got fascinated, and I was like, man, I'm gonna watch that. Once again, good old grandma, she's right there. Being of a Christian, she's like, hey, don't watch that. And I'm like, hey, it's all right, it's all right. I was like, it's just a show. I don't know if y'all can go find that or what, but man, for that to have been on History Channel, that was a pretty good little documentary. on possession that they had went into. Like it had clips where you see nails coming out of people's heads, and they were going into like the history of what they had. This had to been like 2005, 2006, like when cable was pretty all right.
Right, right.
Um, but, but anyway, she was like, all right. She goes, all right. She goes, I'm gonna let you learn the hard way. She goes, well, you watch things like that. She goes, sometimes you call things or you allow things in. Or you put it in your mind and it could come to you
Right.
through your mind finally. So I'm like, ah, whatever. I'm not thinking of it. So the night goes on. I watch that, watching all type of other things, Scooby Doo, other things. And I knew it was gonna get to me toward the end of the night. I was just trying to act brave. I'm like, oh, whatever. And I didn't think nothing of it. So we're sitting there and she goes, are you all right? After you watch that? And she just kind of goes into explaining the end of the Bible a little bit to me. Parts of Revelation, I guess, and correlate with what she was saying and what I watched. So I got all this on my mind. I'm waiting there. She goes, all right, well, she goes, let's go to bed then. She goes, I'm gonna go bathroom real quick. She goes, and I'll be right back. So she gets up. The minute she leaves me, my bed starts rocking.
Oh, damn.
Like I knew it when the earthquake, because it's rocking like the back to the front, like something like there's like two people basically sitting there shaking it. And in the middle of the room, I see a head rotating. And I get freaked out and I start screaming, oh, grandma comes back in there, what's wrong? What's going on? And I start telling her, she goes, see, it's that thing you watched in this house we're in. She goes, I told you. She goes, you let evil in on evil. And I was like, man, maybe you're right. So I just always been cautious of things I watch ever since then. And, I've always kind of wondered that and struggled with that too, is that, there's something evil in that community and on that block. Because I wasn't the only one having problems seeing things. Like I had friends that made friends. Two of my two of my very good friends that grew up on the same block. And my homie would tell me about, strange things happening in their house and them seeing like children. And then everybody would have stories about seeing things in their backyard. Like how I told you I seen something running. A lot of people would see something in their backyard and it hop their fence.
Yeah.
Or just very unsettling vibes and feelings. I remember we would be playing and it'd be like this because because it was in a city, it'd be like night like this. And we'd be playing hide and go seek. And then you'd have that story, when you come back and be like, hey man, I was chasing you or I thought I was chasing you. And then we ran into the shadow and you never ran out. Or like I said, because it was Lawrence. Lawrence kind of sets in hills too. So you would look down or up a hill and you would see somebody walking and then they would just fade out. So now and here's another thing though. I used to always find ease and I always wondered why nothing never happened in that living room. That would be the only place where I felt secure and safe. But now that I think about it, why I think nothing was ever able to happen in that living room is there was sand paintings in there. There was a dream catcher in there. There was a flute. There was a feather that had medicine on it and a powwow stick that was blessed. And then I believe in the kitchen was the Last Supper's picture, and over the door was a cross. So I'm guessing that's why it would always be to this back room, to outside, to the garage, to the kitchen, to anything other than this square right here, because I'm guessing it was protected. I wouldn't get a nightmare in there or anything. I would get bad night terrors. That's the first time I've ever had paralysis.
Mhm.
So what would you tell the audience about, about these, these items, these relics, these blessed items? What would you tell the audience about them. What tell the audience about the power of this. These items and how
You know, I never knew, and I was asking recently. I never knew that sand paintings even had powers until I was kind of explaining one time. I think it was to one of my aunts. I was, about this house, and they were even like, I get a vibe from here too.
Mm.
And then that's when my aunt told me. She goes, well, she goes, these sand paintings. She goes, they hold power. She goes, depending on how they were made or what they were made for. She goes, they'll protect you. She even told me, like, I still don't know the full meaning, but she would even that would speak on, she said, speak to him. She goes, come here and tell him. She goes, man, there's something in here scaring me. She goes, they'll protect you. And then another one was, there was a picture, and I guess in a willow branch on leather, and it was a picture of a white buffalo. And I guess in
Mm.
somebody's way, that's another one that wards off evil spirits. So she pointed out that too. So she's the one that was pointing at all the stuff in there and was telling me, like you were saying, she didn't go too in depth, but she just goes, hey, these sand paintings. She goes, to my people, and to their people have power. She goes, and I think she referred to like Lakota with that buffalo painting. She goes, that one's supposed to keep bad things away. She goes, the drumstick. She goes, has medicine on it for them to sing and good drum songs, so it'll protect you. She goes, my mom had a eagle feather given to her from her Apache brother that sat in there, and it wasn't in glass, so I'm sure it would protect me. But yeah, it just seemed like nothing was able. And maybe that's why when I seen what I seen of my grandma, she had to stop right there. 'Cause I'm sure if that entity would have walked in there, it would have got sucked up, or whatever was in them sand paintings would have came out and got it, or that buffalo would have came and got it.
Yeah.
That's what's up, dude. For real.
And
Yeah.
my
Great.
my Cherokee aunt gave me a dream catcher, and it kind of helped too with my room because I would get weird night terrors, and they would be like of like entities, like being haunted in my dream. Can't wake up, so that would be like that paralyzation. A couple times I knew I had to have been awake. So and it just leads me back to wondering, like you were saying, and just to this area, if I was supposed to have got possessed and just didn't, because I was also like mentally having a hard time, acting out. I just thought I was going through puberty, but then when I'm looking back, oh, that was a little more than puberty. Because like you said, I did. I felt like the whole time we lived in the house, it just felt like there was a dark shadow on me. And it's because it's like my mom was going through this addiction and I couldn't have her understand. Then she ended up having my brothers too. And, me and my grandma was like, okay, that'll slow her down. She's a good, but addiction is just one of them things. And it plagued her for a long time, all the way back. And I got stories of being up there in different locations with her. Like I told the story. Well, I had always kind of noticed this after we moved out of this house. So we moved into another apartment after that house for whatever reason. So we had to move. And she was still battling her thing, and I'm helping raise my brothers. So now it's just us. And this is the first time I noticed that, as you drink a lot, you start to lose friends because y'all butt heads, or somebody drunk all the beer up, or you can't handle it, so they don't want you drinking with them, but you don't understand because you love to drink. So she was going through that one time, and she was drinking alone in her room, and I'm like tired, school, helping my little brothers out. So I'm sitting there, and I know she's the only one in her room, and she's starting to get blacked out. I know she is because she's been consistent. But then she starts talking. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So she's tripping. And then I start faintly hearing another voice. And I'm like, what? And she starts chuckling. And it would just be a lot of times throughout life after this time when I would know she would be alone drinking. I would hear things talking to her and her responding to it. But, and I would open up the door sometimes because, you'll get creeped out and get strong eventually. And one time I did. Opened up the door. She was in there alone. And it's like right when I walked in, it's like she had lifted up and she slapped her leg like somebody was just in there the whole time talking with her. And then, I know somebody's told that story before, but it would be like that. Sometimes you would go in there and be like, hey, who are you talking to? And she would sometimes be blacked out enough to be like, I'm talking to this person and this. It's like, Mom, you're the only one in this room.
Yeah, it's that alcohol spirit, man. I'd like to credit Lodge Tales for that. That's a lot of information that he dropped, and I listened to it. And I do remember seeing a TikTok video. I think it was out there in Alaska, or yeah. And in the video, a man, he's arguing with the spirit, and they were saying that the alcohol, came with the spirit, and he was arguing in the kitchen with it, and you could hear the thing talking back, and he's sitting there trying to plead with it too, man. It was disturbing to say the least, man. But I do believe in that. I do hear that, dude. So, oh man,
My
that
grandma
that
told me
Yeah,
that
one.
man. Like even in Gallup to Farmington, we've been around, and we would see a lady. Usually, it's always a lady, and she's screaming at the top of her lungs, saying, "Shut up! Get away from me! Leave me alone!" And then we'd be in Gallup, there'd be another lady saying the same thing, screaming at something that no one can see. Leave me alone! Shut up! So it's very sad. People need help out there.
I had a
Alcohol
friend.
spirits.
I had a
But
friend
go
explain
ahead,
something like
Al.
that one time with people with
Mhm.
like not drunks, but with addiction, like high. He would be
mhm.
like, because when you see them acting like that, sometimes he goes, we just write it off. Oh, they're tweaking. Because you never know what they might actually be seeing. He
Exactly,
goes,
man.
or why they're so. He goes, have you ever like? He goes, watch this, and he did it. He walked up to one of them. He goes, ma'am, I'm not trying to be rude. He goes, but may I ask, why are you like this? You know what I mean? And she looked up at us and she goes, there's always been something on me. She goes, nobody believes me. She goes, but when I get high, I can deal with it. It's like, what? And it just kind of always made me look like you were saying, like you'll see him talking and flailing or even fighting something that is not there. And it just makes you wonder, like, I don't know, or like you said, as natives, I guess we watch a little bit more. But like, have you ever noticed, like sometimes something did grab them back, or something was there with them? It's like if
Mhm.
you go
Yeah.
back and play it in your mind, like yeah, that one swing that they took, if you look, something did grab their shirt and pulled it out. It's just like,
And
oh no,
especially when someone's going up the stairs and it's like heavy, like when people are going upstairs not drinking or high, it'd be like tick, 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 tick. And then when they come drunk, it's like boom, 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 boom. They're extra heavier. So
my
I don't know
grandma
if
would
you caught
also
that.
say that too. She goes like the spirits get on you. So like you were saying, so like you're holding the
Yeah,
weight of more than just one
yeah,
person. My grandma was heavy on that. One of
yeah.
her things that she would do, I never asked her did, every now and then she would bathe in ways that she knew how to bathe. That's why she would do it. She said because it felt like something was weighing her down and making her sick. Or there's a ghost on me. That's what she would say, and I need to get it off of me. I said, man, I said, where do you? I would ask her, well, where do you think you picked it up at? And she would tell me, oh, well, there was real negative energy in this one place. And a lot of times, back to that house that my mom had her first house that she had ever, it was like that. She was from this house. She was, I don't know what it is too. Just it's like how you hear with the alcohol spirits. She was, I don't. She was, I could pray. She goes, we could smoke it out with cedar. She goes, we can go get medicine. She goes, as long as she's drinking, it'll come back. I said, man, that's crazy. But it was never explained until watching all y'all, and like you said, Rob, that them were alcohol spirits. We just called them spirits. My grandma just made it sound like, because of the drinking that the evil was allowed in. But now y'all said, no, it's a whole spirit within itself. It's like, okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
It gets worse
another.
too. Oh,
Uh,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was
Go ahead.
going back to chronological order. Go ahead. You
Oh
might have
no,
a good
you're
one.
good. You're good. You're good.
Back to Lawrence too. There's another stretch of apartments on way off on the other side of town. First time I ever got introduced to this was visiting. We would go over there and visit our cousin. She would always have weird things happening to her. You know, her and her man would always be into it. And she had like opera mass as decorations. She said one time they were in there and like lightweight arguing, or had just were trying not to argue, so they were sitting separate. And she said something walked up. She said the way it walked up and flew off the wall. She said like something went up there and grabbed that face off the wall and threw it. So later on, like 5 years later, my best friend happens to move into them apartments, him and his family. So I've been staying over there with him a lot. You know, we'd be asleep and we would like all wake up asking each other, like, dang, why'd you stand over me? You know what I mean? Or what was you doing in the kitchen for so long last night? Or what were you doing? Why'd you stop off in the hallway and then, the person would always be like, man, that wasn't me. Or we'd be sitting there playing video games or something like that. You know how most apartments have them two little windows that you could see out of back in the day. Well, they were like that, but they were the type where you couldn't see out of, but you could see like like light and figures. So every now and then you'd see figures walking past that thing. You know, you'd open up that door and look, just being nosy sometimes. But when nobody be out in that hallway, or even then, it'd be so powerful enough, it'd even come knock on the door sometimes. Doof, 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 doof. And then when you open the door, nobody's there. Or like banging, or like you'd hear moving around in empty units. And then while I'm saying that there was evil, man, this one time I had walked out when my cousin was staying there. She stayed up on the third balcony. In my mind, I had went down to the second floor, which is still high. I don't know what made me jump, and I jumped down. And my mom was like, when I hit the ground, man, my nose was bleeding and all that. And my mom goes, "Boy, are you crazy as hell?" And I was like, "What?" She goes, "You jumped from the third one." She goes, what are you doing? I said, well, mom, I said, I remember walking down to the second one and jumping down. She said, no, boy, you walked out the house, got off the edge of the rail, and just jumped. I said, that's not how I remember it in my mind. But I'm sitting there hurting, nose bleeding. And when I think back on that one, it was the energy of that place or whatever. Or maybe something took over me in that split second. That's the thought it gave me. But yeah, she goes, yeah, you jumped from the third down. And then that brings
Anyways,
us to good old. Then that brings us to
did
good
you
old
guys
Haskell.
did you guys hear a female voice?
I'm
Was
Yeah.
outside
there,
in the
was
parking
there
lot too, though.
Oh, okay. So you're not alone. All right. Just checking because earlier when we first started, we were hearing a lot of voices in the background. So just checking.
Oh yeah, that one might have been weird because I was in a car at first on that one.
Oh no, I mean like when we first started the podcast
Oh,
earlier, we were hearing some creepy stuff. So it's been a minute.
Mm.
So I'm like, hey, did you hear that? But anyway, sorry, Kyle. Go ahead. You can continue. Sorry about that.
yeah, and then like I said, that brings me to Haskell because, like I said, my mom attended there, my aunt, my uncle, so we were always just in and out of Haskell and around Haskell. So you'd hear stories of the dorms, like you'd hear stories of people going to sleep and then like abruptly being woke up and there being an entity sitting on the edge of their bed. Like a lot of them would describe like an older Indian man, like dressed out still, like the way he should, like or in his buckskins or something. Like, but it'd be like old decrepit face, you know what I mean, or something like that. Or it'd be an older Indian woman sitting on the edge of their bed, or every now and then, because of the ones it would be nuns. You'd hear about them seeing them nuns. Because Haskell used to be one of them dormitories before it became positive. It was a negative dormitory. And the
Jeez.
efforts and
Yeah.
effects as we blossomed out and became better, and as we tried, it became the institution that it is now. My aunt would go on to tell some of her personal stories that, she remembers like being in the athletic dorm and like, being in the shower, being the only one in there, and it just going cutting real, real cold all of a sudden. And her just getting that feeling like, I'm not alone. And then another one was she thought her roommate came back because she kept feeling something like in the room with her. So she was like, "Hey, is that you?" And she goes, "I was still laying there." She goes, "I didn't really want to turn around." She goes, "Is that you?" She said she just kept hearing it. She goes, maybe she's mad or something. You know what I mean? So she goes, so I wouldn't keep asking that. She goes, I turned around. When I turned around, she goes, there's nobody in my dorm room with me. She goes, but I heard wrestling. Like somebody walked in and was at the other bed. And she said she would hear in empty dorm rooms around her, like furniture being moved around. And she'd ask the RA, like, hey, how come such and such is, moving their stuff around 3 o'clock in the morning? They go, "Man, there ain't nobody in that room up above you." Then I've had uncles and cousins that were staff, and they have some wild stories. My cousin has one that he was in. I believe this one was Pocahontas, which is one of the most ones you always hear stories about. But
Mm.
he said that he seen a kid and they bounced a ball at him. So he was like, "Oh, whatever, it's just one of the students and they're kids." So he's like, "All right, I'm play with this kid." So he got that ball. And he said when he went to go bounce that ball back, there wasn't nobody standing at the end of that hallway. Another one that y'all will find cool. Another one was my uncles were ministers, and in ministry, and I guess they were at the time working for the school, like coaching, teaching, doing whatever they needed to do, and then ministering as they were asked to too. So one day they get a call to one of the dorms, and they go, "Hey, we need y'all to come down here. This is." I guess it was even campus security. They called. They was like, "Hey, we need y'all to come down here. This is out of our hands. Like, there's nothing that law can do for this." And they go, my uncle goes, well, what's going on? He goes, man, I could tell you over this phone. He goes, but it's better that you come down here and just look. He goes, because you might want to bring your Bible. And if he goes, you got holy water. He goes, you might want to bring that too. He goes, oh man. He goes, all right. He goes, let me call my brother-in-law, which was my other uncle. You know what I mean? So they're both there. So he calls him up. He goes, hey, something's going on in one of these dorms. And they tell me that there ain't nothing they can do and that I better bring my Bible and holy water. You want to come help me? He goes, yeah. He goes, we better go see what's going on. They might need us. So they said they finally get to that. They get to that dorm and they go, hey, what's going on? They said, all right, this is what's going on. They go, there's this man in there. And I guess at the time, he was goth or emo, back then. But back then, that was more like, it was weird. It was more weird for people to be like that too, though. So I guess he was a gothic type guy, and they go, he's like gothic, but they go, he's a real good kid normally. And, they go, man, his grades fell off. They said his attitude's real ugly. And then they go, and he goes, his room stinks, like there's just taking food in there, ain't bringing it out. And just it stinks to the high heavens in there. And they go, dude, they go, he ain't acting right. And they say, well, what do you mean? And they go, man, we think, well, that's what we called y'all for. We think he's possessed. I go, oh man. They go, yeah, well, we better go check it out. They go, no, that ain't the worst part. They go, what? They go, yeah. They go, well, ever since these kids reported that he started acting like that, he's been drawing this picture of a beast. And they go, and this beast is starting to come out of this drawing.
Hmm.
They go, what do you mean? And so I guess my uncles go in there and they look. And he had put a picture of this beast that he had drew, and it was starting to come out of it. Like they said, the hair off of the beast was starting to come out of the picture. And they said that they tried to take it off the door, did whatever they needed to do, got all that off, but they said it would just keep coming back. So they did what they needed to do. I guess it turns out he was possessed. They got him cured and all that. But whatever it was that he had did and fashioned up or whatever was made, they had to basically destroy that door finally, because whatever it was going to just keep trying to keep coming through that door. So I guess he opened up a portal. It was about to release something if they wouldn't have caught it, and all they knew how to do was destroy that door. And like it's high school, so the way they kind of explained it was, a congregation of spiritual people kind of came in after that too. I was like, we'll take care of it.
Damn. That's
And that one's
cool.
always been a weird one.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was gonna say when it came down to a dormitory, was it a government dormitory or the Catholic dormitory?
I think at first it might have started off like that with the church, but now the government owns it. It's
Mm.
Haskell's Indians University,
Uh,
Mhm.
so I know it's part of the
Missouri.
Indian Ed now.
Any
yeah,
word that was used to try to strip the indigenous identity away from kids is always a spot for bad poltergeists and bad shadow people and horrible experiences.
Well, you
That's
had
all
a set,
that always comes with it. Uh-huh.
you had a set of when I guess that when it first started on the other side before Indian Ed took over and started coming in and changing all the atrocities and all that. you know, it was a boarding school, like you said, ran by whomever, Catholics, Christians, however it went. But they were talking about how they would mess with the students, getting them, and the graveyard that you see or that everybody hears of that you see, it's of all those children. And basically what it was swept under the rug children, basically, faculty was sleeping with these young Native American women or raping them and then clothes hangering them. It's one of them old instances. I know everybody hears about that. But yeah, a lot of that went on out there. So there's graves and a lot of that. That leads me into the story that I was telling you. Once again, it's my mom, my two you aunts, my mom's little sister. You can walk the main road all around, and it's like a good mile and a half. So a lot of people like to walk it to exercise it, and it just takes you around all the campuses basically. So we're sitting there, we're walking, we're fixing to come up on this graveyard, and in a thick guttural growl, you hear my name ring out. And everybody heard it. My mom, my aunts, everybody. Oh. Well, my you aunts look, they go, yep, it's time to go. My mom was like, hey, we go get done walking. They go, nope, not when you hear something like that. Just get to the car. It's time to go. They go, that's enough for me. They go, nothing should be ever doing that. They go, and anytime you ever hear that, leave.
well,
Yeah, we were fixing to round that corner and come up by that graveyard. And yeah, I heard something.
well, this looks like we get enough fundage, man. We got to do like a paranormal road trip and visit all these areas, bro. I would love to see and put a place and picture to these incidents, man. For real.
There's the old gym. You can still hear them running basketball games in there. There won't nobody be in there, but man, you can be out there at night or day. That's just how paranormal it is there. And you'll hear shuffling, the basketball.
Damn. Wow. Oklahoma, Missouri, here we come.
That was Kansas. Yeah, that one was Lawrence, Kansas.
Oh, Kansas. Lawrence, Kansas. All
and
right.
that'll bring me to another one. There's a story. There was these kids when they were going in and during that Quantrell raid and all that, when the Southerners were coming in to burn Lawrence down for being a free state. There's a story that there's these two boys that when this started to happen, they bailed out against their parents' wishes and they went off to fight in the war and they lost their lives being honorable. So there's a park built around their house now. And there's an old fable, they're like, hey, if you're around here at this certain time of night, you'll see them two entities come barreling out of that window and ducked down and took off running down that road. So, we're all like first year of high school. We're all out there at that park. Not even worried about that. I think we were just out there being knuckleheads or something. Hey, man, sure enough, here come these two boys barreling out this house, going down, jumping off the thing and barreling down the road. We're thinking like somebody broke into that house. And my one homie's like, no, y'all remember that myth they talked about in school? They go, yep. They go, yep, we just seen it. Man.
Dang. Hey, Kyle. Everyone on here is everyone here is pouring out a lot of love on the chat, saying they love the stories. You have so many great stories, and there's also a lot of love of how much they love your accent. So, great job tonight, brother Kyle.
Try not to use an
Great job,
accent
man.
too.
Trying to use your res Southern
Just
accent
trying to,
combo.
yeah. I guess I did it right then. I was just trying to use my voice because I'm like, man, let me not get on here and talk like this or talk like that. Have somebody in the comment, hey, that ain't even how we talk. He made
Hell
that
yeah,
voice
hell
up.
yeah. Hell yeah,
Man.
man. We're running towards the end of our show, guys. Is there any final shout outs you want to give, Kyle, before we close out the show tonight?
Yeah, man. I'd just like to give a big shout out once again to y'all and Don't Whistle at Night Nation. Without any of this, y'all wouldn't have these stories without these two, putting out a lot of good work, y'all are. Putting a lot of good medicine in and out there. I know a lot of times, like you said, certain times people get mad when we get on the show and talk about some of what we talk about, but it needs to be talked about. There's a reason we were told all these legends and stories and things. I don't feel like I got on here or will get on here. 'Cause hopefully y'all have me back because we ain't even get to my skinwalker stories or the rabbit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That I did
And I
mention that
still
at
have
the be-
some. Yeah, I
I
still
did
have
mention.
some Bigfoot stories too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah,
And
man. Welcome to the family again, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
man. The last one, and this one's just on my heart, being Stajat too, is if y'all have time, any of y'all watching, go check out justiceforhickeyground.com. It's a fight that we're going through to save our motherlands back home. Our ancestors have been abruptly taken out of their resting homes and are being held at Auburn University against their will. And we just want to put them back.
Right.
'Cause,
Okay.
they should have never been bothered.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, other than
Well,
that, anytime y'all
solidarity
need
will
me
stand
back.
with you guys on that. Oh heck yeah, man. If anyone cancels out on the schedule closing out this year, we'll definitely bring you back because shoot, man. I mean, you're a reporter from your side, you're from your neck of the woods, and just hearing your experience, your life. Darren and I have really great imagination, so we're just right along there with you along the ride. So appreciate that, man. Thank you for coming on. Welcome to the family again, brother.
I know.
All right. How about you, Darren? You got anything you want to share?
Yeah, I did mention the rabbit man, the bunny man. Hoping to get there, but hey, that just leaves you guys on a cliffhanger and myself on a cliffhanger for a part two, man. So I
Oh yeah.
appreciate you jumping on and man, some of these stories, dude, it legit gave me chills, dude. Like man, I can't imagine that, but I will. Just gave myself chills, dude. Just sitting there trying to put my place in your life events, So, oh man, that's creepy. Really good stuff, though. Really good stuff. But I do agree with you. Uh, we do need to talk more about this. As a kid, I always grew up like, hey, don't do that, and you're like, why, and then they would never give you an answer. So,
How was
hey,
that
same
one?
thing.
Yeah.
Same thing with the paranormal stuff. They would say, don't talk about it, leave it alone. Like so.
Man, we didn't get into a lot of that either. Next time.
Yep,
Because I know
yep.
there's
Next time.
stuff we was rattling off one day, man. I know that TikTok, you hopped off so I could hop on. And that's
Mm,
kind of what I was going on about that. And I'm glad you brought that up. So, man, part two, we'll have to get into that too.
yep.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Especially time living on the Navajo Nation and how good you got at making hickeys. The sacred
Yeah.
tradition right there. Hickey making, hickey making and teepee creeping.
Yeah.
There's
Ain't it?
the reason why there's a lot of Navajos out there. No, I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, man. Appreciate it again.
Mhm.
Everyone's pouring out a lot of love for you here, including your accent. So next time, make sure you bring on your cowboy hat and your Wranglers. Nah, just kidding.
Oh, I'll do it from the house. That way everybody can hear me first time. We won't
Oh
be at
yeah,
we won't be
man.
at Freak Fest, aka Creek Fest.
But hey, man, do me a favor while you're out there. Whenever you're in Shodo, Oklahoma, go to that family restaurant and enjoy some good catfish on Fridays, brother. And then they have some fried chicken too. So some good stuff over there.
Think
That's beside.
Sterling ripped the catfish for me, brother. You ever seen
Oh
Reservation
man.
Dogs? I don't think you would know.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. Go ahead, Darren. You gonna
Oh
say something?
yeah. And also, the activity on the chat's going pretty good. Uh, if you have a question, just keep it simple and brief, either for us or the guest. Always like talking and
Yeah.
intermingling with the chat,
Yeah.
especially with the Alan Gorgon. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but hey, nice to hear
Same.
someone from Ireland.
Guess I'm, I guess I'm Kyle Hill on TikTok too. Yeah, I think straight up Kyle Hill.
Hmm.
Any
Oh yeah, yeah.
stories? I want to pick my mind about anything, man. Y'all come on through. Don't be afraid.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Facebook too. He's on Facebook too. Let's
Facebook.
read this one comment off. Just because it's on your neck of the woods. Michelle F. 1982. I lived in Lawrence in the 1970s, and our house was so haunted. They later tore it down. Was off Highway 55.
Wow,
I don't
that
know how
looks like
close you are to that.
Sounds like that's out there in the boonies somewhere. Yeah, you hear a lot of them talk about getting. Man, it's another one. Like I said, that's just another story. Like best thing I could go tell them is do your history and find out what natives were there. And you'll find out like there's some sad truths to it, but it also helps. I think when they get told that, 'cause then you don't go outside and pick up things you shouldn't, or you don't do things you shouldn't do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then signing off. Don't go pick up shiny nice things, pack of cigarettes, beer bottle, feathers. You never know what somebody did to them. Especially if you're a
Yep.
woman, you never know that ugly man might want you to love him. Eoff
Oh
man. Hey.
Yep.
yeah, yeah, man, that's for sure.
Uh-huh.
No, another question here. I think this is for us here. Nivea's angel, are they made by elders or does anyone make them? Does someone pray as they create the sand paintings? Yeah, Nivea's angel. There's a couple medicine mans. There's either 3 or 4 sometimes, depending. Um, as they're doing the each layer, each different color is made by different herbs, and each of them are sang by different song at a specific order depending on what kind of song for specific reasons. Some of them sand paintings are made on the ground as a portal and spirits come through to help the patient. um, that's the good way. Then people also use it the bad way. So sand painting is used for good and bad, that what I've been told. And seeing some of the signs in some of the skinwalker caves, it's legit. So you have to find a medicine man, a practitioner to get that sand painting. Yeah. Yep. That's the question right there. And yeah, yes, Little Wolf C13. You can find Kyle Hill on Facebook. I tagged him with the banner. This if you didn't
I
find
sent,
us on Facebook,
I
go
think I
for it.
sent Lil
Find us.
Wolf a request on TikTok.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Shout
Awesome.
out Little
She's
Wolf
good
too.
people.
Yep.
Good
Good
people.
people.
Uh huh. Yep.
Yep. And Alan Garnigan, thank you, Don and Darren. It's great to be here listening to these amazing Native American stories. Oh, thank you, Alan Garnigan. Much love out there in Ireland.
Mhm.
Take care.
Y'all doing
Heidi
anything after
Goal.
this?
Oh yeah.
On
Gonna go
any
look for
y'all going
Bigfoot out
anywhere else
there.
after this, or this it for y'all for tonight?
Probably take my son to the park. Go hit the
Mm,
gym or something. What
yeah.
about you? What about you, Darren?
Well, I gotta maintain the house right here and check around the property line. Usually, when I do these lives like this, I usually have a live visual of the cameras too. So I gotta go take a look around the house. Like you're saying, man, it's haunted. Haunted. I can't stress it enough. We had one of the members come by the house too, and just showed them around, and did her thing, and just got to live with it sometimes. And so that's a pretty fun part sometimes about it. So, uh,
That's another cliffhanger to leave y'all on. You know, when we big difference when what we talk about. You know how y'all talk about caves and crystals and big setups that they have to go to. And down here, these evil ones, man, all they have to do is know their prayers and their songs. And they literally go puke up their guts
Mm.
and then get after you. So our way too, you know, and they're telling you when you're trying to like how y'all say you got to go find where they're at. Well, ours, you have to go find that. You have to go find that gut
gut pile, the throat pile, huh?
pile. Yeah, if you go find that, you can vanquish them, or they can't change back.
Yeah.
That is
Interesting.
Yep.
We'll have to get into that one too, or anytime y'all on live until y'all get me on. We can get into it. They can Q&A me.
Hey man, you're more than welcome to jump on the box whenever we do TikTok live. So listeners out there, look for us on TikTok live, Facebook, on the group on Facebook, Don't Whistle at Night podcast Facebook group. I'm the admin, Don Yazzie. Darren is on there too. Darren Yazzie. You'll find Kyle Hill on there as well. And friend request us there. Same thing with TikTok. Don't Whistle at Night podcast TikTok. You'll find Darren there, and you'll find Kyle Hill there, and you'll find a lot of our great moderators and a lot of people that are on TikTok are here too, like NJ Yucca Fruit. Yeah, just get with us. I'll get you linked in with Kyle if you have any more questions with him. And Sunglass Grandma Cat J, see from TikTok here. The story is great and very interesting, very much indeed. Little Wolf C13 Q&A, yes. Oh yeah. MJ Yuckerfruit, what's the guest's TikTok? Kyle, can you let everyone know what's your handle on TikTok?
I believe it's just Kyle Hill, or Kyle. It might be Kyle W Hill. Yeah, Kyle W Hill. Let's go, Kyle W Hill.
Yeah. If not, I'll tag him again somehow, some way after the show's over. Especially when this video is done, I'm gonna make some video shorts. I have time, so I'm gonna flood the social media with your shorts. So if you guys want a friend request him on TikTok, Facebook, he'll be tagged on there as well. Is there any final you want to give any final shout outs, you guys, before we close the show?
Oh man, just one more time, just shout out to all y'all natives out here doing podcasts like this, keeping the community alive. You know, y'all are doing good medicine in good ways, and I just want to be. I know I ain't the first one to tell y'all that, but I just want y'all to tell y'all that. And man, I gotta get a hold of some of them stickers, man.
Yeah, we got him coming, dude. We got
All
him. I got
right,
one.
yeah. I gotta
We
let
Talking
me
got
about
know
one
this
so I
one
for
can
right
you.
buy
here.
'em. Yeah, that one, and I like the other one that you made in the tactical colors.
Oh, the
We'll get
fluorescent
that.
one. Oh yeah. We'll have them. We'll have a lot of them out pretty soon, and hats, shirts very soon down the way. So keep
I'm
an
gonna be
eye
dripped
out.
out. I'm gonna be dripped out next
Oh
podcast.
yeah.
Yeah.
For real, man. Everyone out there, keep an eye out, and yeah, check it out. We even got Darren and I got cards too, so it's right here. So we're gonna be flashy. We're gonna be in Albuquerque at the magazine release next week, so
Oh,
we'll be handing these
nice.
babies out and probably trying to sell some stickers in Albuquerque. I don't know if you can make it to Albuquerque, Kyle. No, just kidding. But other than that, though, you guys take it easy out there. Little Wolf, you will get the sticker. Yes, Heidi Gold, hashtag UPRN. Definitely Heidi Gold. She's always there. Ever since day one we started, Heidi's been there. Okay, closing the show out right now, guys. Thank you for tuning into Don't Whistle at Night. We have been broadcasting live here on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. I am Don Yazzie. Right here's Darren Yazzie. Kyle Hill down here below us. From
Boomer
us
sooner.
here at UPRN and everyone out there listening, thank you. Be safe out there. Don't whistle at night. Only I can. I'm just playing. But everyone out there, we don't say goodbyes. We don't say bye at all. We say hagone. Once farewell until next time. We see you guys.
Yep.
This is no
See
goodbyes.
you
Next
next
week.
week.
All right. Good job, guys.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.